Hello everyone, it's the Mostly Video Game Player. I'm back again to bring you my top favorite contestants on Hell's Kitchen. Just a quick disclaimer, just because these contestants may be awful or good as contestants, that doesn't mean necessarily that they're awful or good people in real life. Because it's the reality show. Things are a little bit different there than real life, so I never met these people in real life, so I just want a quick disclaimer. I'm only judging them based off of their appearance in Hell's Kitchen. Now the same rules apply as last time. There were only counting contestants from the American version of the show, and the contestant must have at least made it to the second round to be eligible for this list. Without further ado, let's get started with the list. Number 12, Virginia from Season 2. So, Virginia is a decent chef with a decent attitude, but unfortunately she wasn't that good of a leader, especially in the finale. I mean, she had to bribe her teammates for them to work properly. Granted, it was because her teammates hated her, but I think that says a lot about Virginia and her relationships with some of the contestants. She would definitely not get along with some of her competition. So overall, Virginia's a pretty decent chef and with a good attitude, but her lack of leadership really hurts her in some areas. And that's why she's only number 12 on my list. Number 11, Jay from Season 7. So, Jay's a really good chef and a pretty good leader. But unfortunately, he did get along with some of his teammates. While most of the time he was a good leader, he did argue with his teammates a good chunk of the time. In particular, when he fought with Jason. Sometimes he could have a pretty laid-back attitude, but other times he could be rather strict. And he's probably the only contestant to say that he wanted to sleep with another contestant. So, I guess that's something. So, he had his arguments, they had some little quirks. Overall, he was a pretty decent chef and a pretty decent leader. And that's why he's number 11 on my list. Number 10, DuBarry from Season 1. DuBarry is probably one of the nicest and sweetest contestants you will ever see on Hell's Kitchen. Like, for example, when DuBarry was having a talk with Elsie told DuBarry that she would not put her up for elimination, but Elsie lied and actually did put him up for elimination. Most people would be angry and would have a tough time forgiving Elsie, but DuBarry forgives her instantly and becomes very nice to her. DuBarry is so sweet that if I were a woman or gay, then I would marry this man. Okay, not really, but you get the point. DuBarry is very sweet. So if he's so sweet, then why is he only number 10 on my list? Well, it's only because he didn't make it past the second round, which means he's barely eligible for this list. It also means that DuBarry's not that very good of a cook. And he also almost quit one time, where he couldn't take the heat of the kitchen. While DuBarry may be a very sweet and nice guy, when he only made it to the second round and is not that very good of a cook, I can only put him so high up on the list. and that's why DuBarry's only number 10 on my list. Number 9. Lou Ross from Season 4. Ross is kind of an oddball contestant. I mean, he probably has the strangest haircut of any contestant on Hell's Kitchen. But he is a good chef and a pretty good leader. I mean, he single-handedly prevented the blue team from sinking on the first night by stepping up as the leader. But he does kind of have some of the same problems with Jay, that he could get into arguments and kind of start rivalries with other contestants. So overall, Ross might be a little bit of an odd contestant. He is a pretty good leader and a good chef, but he could get into arguments with some people sometimes, which is why he's only number 9 on my list. Number 8. Tommy from Season 9. Tommy has the rocker attitude, is overall kind of like a rock star, which I approve of because, I like rock music. But in terms of culinary ability, he was a bit of a wild card. Sometimes he would do good, sometimes he would do bad. He had a pretty decent attitude, but he could occasionally get into arguments with people. While I do like his rocker attitude, his culinary abilities were really mixed, which is why he's only number 8 on my list. Number 7. Rock from Season 3. Rock is a very good cook with a very good attitude. He's very rock solid, which is very fitting for a contestant named Rock. And mentally, he's probably one of the strongest contestants. He doesn't give up. He's very confident in what he's doing. And Rock is a very good leader. But he could get a little bit too competitive and would get angry sometimes when he lost. But overall, he's a very rock solid contestant. That's why he's number 7 on my list. Number 6. Robert from Season 5 and Season 6. So Robert has a bit of a strange history with this show. So Robert initially came into the competition during Season 5, but had to leave during the Black Jacket rounds because of medical issues. But during Season 6, opening night, he came back as a guest. But early on in Season 6, they eliminated 2 contestants, so Gordon Ramsay asked Robert if he would come back on the show, and Robert agreed. So that's why he starts in 2 seasons. So Robert kind of has 2 sides to his story. In Season 5, he was a pretty humble contestant with good culinary abilities. But however, in Season 6, he kind of wasn't the greatest contestant. He would get into arguments a good chunk of the time, and his culinary abilities seemingly got worse. I mean, Robert wasn't god-awful during Season 6, but I don't think being on Season 6 really helped Robert's image. So, that's why he's not higher up on this list, is because of his appearance in Season 6. Even though he was a very good contestant in Season 5, and even though I was touched by his story with him and his father, his Season 6 appearance made me dislike him a little. And that's why he's number 6 on my list. Number 5. Dave from Season 6. Dave was a good chef with a good attitude. He was a very good leader. But what I really like about Dave is his perseverance. He got injured during the third episode of season 6, and he perseveres through his injury. And the injury even gets worse later on because he burns his injured hand, and he gets like 3rd-degree burns. It gets really bad, but he doesn't give up. And he's very confident in what he does. The only reason he's not higher is because I like a few more contestants a little more than him. But overall, he's a very solid contestant, which is why he's number 5 on my list. Number 4, Trev from season 8. Trev is a pretty decent chef with a good attitude. Pretty confident in what he does. And while he doesn't get into arguments sometimes, he at least kind of is fighting for the right thing. But probably his most impressive moment was when he was in the kitchen when everyone had been kicked out prior to him. But you think he would get kicked out, but no, he actually managed to just finish service single-handedly. So, Trev is a very solid contestant, why he's number 4 on my list. Number 3, Will from season 9. Let me just start by saying that Will, in terms of culinary ability, is probably one of the best contestants in that area. He's a very good leader, and he's confident in what he does. But unfortunately, his last service wasn't the greatest. That's why he was a runner-up in the end. But overall, Will is a very good contestant. Number 2, Sterling from season 13. If I were to judge contestants solely on personality, then Sterling would probably be number 1. He's a very funny contestant. It's constantly cracking jokes and has a very laid-back attitude. And he's pretty confident in what he does. And he puts his all in for making food. He is nicknamed Mr. 100 after all. Unfortunately, he comes up a little short in his culinary abilities. He did make it to the Black Jacket round, but he got to the last round before the Black Jackets round. So overall, Sterling is a funny contestant with pretty good culinary abilities, which is why he's number 2 on my list. Before I reveal my number 1 pick, I'd like to go over some honorable mentions. Bobby from season 4. It was either him or Luas for number 9, and I think Luas slightly edged him out. He's still a great cook, and he is a decent leader, but sometimes in certain instances, he would fail to step up as a leader, especially on the first night. But overall, he was a decent chef. Kevin from season 6 and season 18. So this guy has the same issue as Robert, because he is on season 6. It was a pretty humble chef, a pretty decent chef, but he was season 18, he would constantly get into arguments and stuff like that. But to be honest, his situation is a little bit worse than Robert's. It's why he's only in the honorable mentions. Tennille from season 6. She's a great chef with great leadership abilities, but occasionally her emotions can get the best of her, especially during that infamous moment where she argued with Gordon Ramsay. And me personally, I find her voice a little grating after a while of listening to her. But overall, she's a good chef with good leadership abilities. Millie from season 14. It's either this guy or my number one pick, which you're about to see in a moment. But it was very close. Millie, again, Millie's a fun guy and has a good attitude, good leadership abilities, is overall a good cook. With those honorable mentions out of the way, I think it's time to reveal my number one pick. Number 1, T from season 14. T is probably the most well-balanced chef in the entire series. She has a good attitude, she has good leadership, she's a good cook, and is very confident in what she's doing. Unfortunately, she didn't win in the end, but in my opinion, she's still an amazing chef. And she's probably my favorite for probably being the most well-rounded chef. So overall, T is a very good chef. So that is it for my top favorite contestants in Hell's Kitchen. That's probably all the Hell's Kitchen videos I'm going to be making for now. I might do a few more Hell's Kitchen videos in the future, but at least for now, this is it. I'd like to thank you all for watching. This is Most Video Game Player signing out.